Okay, well, if you recorded, that's fine. You can always send it over to me, right?
I was going to say,
Yeah.
Always. Hey everybody, welcome to the Chorus Communications Summer School Lunch and Learn webinar series. I'm your summer school host, Jamie Scotto-Kataya, CEO of JSA, and I'm honored to be spending the next 6 weeks right here with you up until the end of August for these 1-hour webinar sessions every Wednesday starting at noon Eastern. And we have a few folks to thank, first and foremost, of course, Charter Communications for putting together just another fantastic creative way to get more channel education to the marketplace. And thank you to our webinar partner, Eat Engage. Because of this registration platform by Eat Engage, each week a lunch of your choice will be arriving to your door so you can chow down while learning all during your lunch hour. Gotta love that. This is the lunch order you selected when registering. So hopefully your meal's already arrived and you're able to kick back a little with us and learn more about Vonage today. And as a friendly reminder, you need to register separately each and every week. So you can choose your restaurant and lunch selection each week. But don't forget, do it now, sign up for next week. You have to go ahead and register separately each and every week so you can choose that restaurant, that lunch. So go ahead, do it now, sign up for next week. And thanks to Chorus and our presenters, we are able to provide a little extra bonus if you attend all 7 webinars. So don't forget to register and register again. And one last housekeeping note, we will be doing a weekly drawing for a $100 gift certificate for all those who have pre-submitted questions for our presenting companies. So before the webinar starts, make sure you get your webinar questions over to Chorus. So thanks to those who have already come up with some questions ahead of time. We have 3 folks who already have, and we've included them right in the chat questions. So thanks, guys. We will be doing that drawing for that $100 gift certificate at the conclusion of the webinar. So fingers crossed to all 3 of the folks who pre-submitted. And hey, it's never too late for a good question. We want to hear from you. We have our presenter today for you. So go ahead and type in your question in the chat box. You can find that chat box by scrolling over your Zoom screen. The nav bar will appear. Just click on chat. Type in your question for everyone. And time permitting, we will either address it live or get right back to you post-webinar. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. This week's presenting company is, of course, Vonage. We are joined by Tom Shinners, whose title for the company is very interesting. He's the evangelist, and as such, he travels the world for Vonage. Tom's dialing in today from London, right, Tom? Very busy guy. Honored to have you.
Hi.
Welcome.
Oh, so it was a battery?
We're just gonna.
All right, well, sometimes I come out with a.
We're just gonna mute that. Tom, can you hear us okay?
I can hear you fine.
All right, wonderful. So let's kick it off. Instead of me sitting here reading your fabulous bio, but it can potentially dull our audience, let's just go ahead with a quick little interview back and forth. First off, you have a fantastic title, evangelist. I just love saying it. Tell us a little bit about your role in the organization and what an evangelist is.
So my job, I work under the product marketing department today at Vonage. So I'm part of the senior product marketing team. I support all routes to market as a subject matter expert for Vonage solutions. So I travel, like you said earlier, probably 60-70% of the time supporting our teams around the world, from product sales, channel sales, direct sales. And I'm actually in London this week because we're getting ready to launch BBC London in the next 2 to 3 weeks, focused around September the 1st.
Oh, wonderful. So that's exciting news right there. You already gave us what's ahead, what we can look forward to. And tell us, what are the key differentiators today for your channel partner program?
You know, I think for us, one of the big differentiators is teaming. So we believe embracing a teams win concept with our partners and our direct sales teams. So we want basically a synergistic energy and focus when it comes to partnering. We're also working on a Vonage accreditation program that's being launched through our Vonage Partner Portal, along with some unique support tools that will allow our partners to access information quickly and represent Vonage confidently.
And talking to that, what are the clients that are just, you know, those verticals that are just your sweet spot? Where does your company successfully target?
So we have some unique capabilities and offerings targeted from the SMB all the way to through mid-market sized companies, including some specific focuses on finance, legal, healthcare, and retail. And going through channel managers and through the support for the partner organization, we can provide links and information behind case studies and a lot of that type of stuff, including even some battle cards.
Great. And is there a particular region or area of the world that your company's products and services cater to? Are you nationwide, international?
Yeah, so, you know, Vonage right now, we'll call it Vonage Business Cloud, VBC, is available throughout the United States and Canada, with the exception of Montreal currently. We include an unlimited calling plan throughout the US, contiguous 48, Alaska, Hawaii, and Canada. So, and as I said earlier, we're expanding into the UK in August, September timeframe, and then we're going to continue to expand into Europe throughout the end of 2018, as well as the next 3 countries we're looking to launch in will be France, Germany, and Australia.
Oh, wow. That's exciting news. And tell me, what's your traditional client engagement like? Does your clients stay with you for 3 months, 1 year, 5 years? Is there a term that they need to be brought in on?
Yeah, so realistically, up until this last year, this particular product set was focused more on a month-to-month type of an operation. And taking that into consideration, our average client is somewhere between 6 and 7 years on the platform. So going forward now, we look to do more terms and things of that nature. Typically, that's what partners are looking for as well. So we've made a bunch of changes really in reflection of what the channel has been asking us to do and working with them and working with partners and customers.
We love to hear that channel communication and suggestions being taken into consideration and deployed. Awesome. So what is that typical sales cycle like? How long does it take to, on average, get a prospect to close?
You know, it really depends upon size and scope for the customer. So we've seen sales cycles that range in the small, medium-sized business, even down to the micro segment in a matter of days, to 1 to 6 months, depending upon size and complexity of the solution. If we're scaling up even into, say, contact center, larger opportunities that involve a lot more locations, then we may see that complexity even take up to 12 months or a year and a half, depending upon what the customer is looking to do.
Right. So really customized, if you will, given the client needs. So what is the, looking into your crystal ball, if you will, what is the top trend or service that your company will leverage in the next, say, 12 months?
So currently what we're expanding is our communications platform as a service. One of the companies that we had acquired in the last couple of years was called NextMo. So we're really building out a lot of those CPaaS services and integrations into our UCaaS, or Vonage Business Cloud services, to continue to evolve with our customers and what their customers look to have available to them when communicating and conducting business. So we're excited as this continues to change how we see customers working with businesses, businesses working with businesses, and we see more unique methods that customers are requiring to communicate with any business they are conducting business with. So that's really where our focus is continuing to build out that process and create some new, unique ways that people are really demanding that they communicate, all the way down from a mobile device and instant messaging, SMS, and so forth.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Tom, for that insight. I'm going to go ahead and turn the controls over to you so you can get to your presentation part for our audience. And as Tom is sharing his screen there, just a friendly reminder to our audience, thank you again for coming. And if you have more questions, those were my questions, but we want to hear from you. So go ahead and type your questions in for Tom in that chat box, and we'll get to them right after his presentation. Tom?
Perfect. All right, can you see my screen?
Yeah, wonderful.
Outstanding. All right, so, excuse me. I'm just going to run through some basic stuff. Vonage Business at a glance, giving you a little bit more background on the company itself. Our solutions for network and delivery methods. Then we're going to talk about unified communications as a service, our overview with the Vonage Business Cloud, setting the proper expectations for VBC, We'll briefly touch on some information regarding the CPaaS solutions, and then we'll go into some question and answer after that. So Vonage Business at a glance. I mean, first you have to look at the history of the company. Over 17 years in business, one of the leaders in unified communications as a service business. You know, we started as a residential company. We're currently over $1 billion in annual revenue with over 95,000 business accounts. And each month we bring on over 3,000 brand new customers onto our platforms. With over 485,000 developers worldwide working with our CPaaS solutions and integrating those with other types of communications aspects, we really have a very unique prospect for going forward with and working with customers, working with partners, and working on solutions that really differentiate how people are communicating with businesses and within businesses. So from an IDC white paper here, you know, companies taking a more advanced and mature approach to communications technology enable better customer service and better overall business results. At the end of the day, for us, you know, if you ever watch or read anything from Alan Masarek, our CEO, he's constantly talking about the ability to create better business outcomes. So here's a snapshot of some of the companies that we've worked with, some of them that you may recognize. And then you'll see on some of these, we'll make this presentation available, but several of these actually go into some case studies and some videos that we did back end for what we did for some of these companies and how they're using our services today. It's a very unique prospect as to how we can create specific solutions for customers, whether that be in the unified communications as a service, so you know, hosted voice over IP, hosted communications, all the way to communications platform as a service, and pulling specific individual pieces out and rolling them from that standpoint. So Vonage customer experience, you know, how do we make your workday better? For us, we're dedicated to your success. This is not only from a partnering standpoint, but also to our customers. So the vision here is to provide customer-centric support services that help businesses communicate in smarter and more efficient ways, obviously helping businesses get closer to their business goals. I think a big difference in the way that we talk about things when we're creating solutions for customers is that we can give them all the tools in order to make them successful and build things around models that they're trying to do from a communication standpoint. But at the end of the day, it's our implementation and our education to the customer's endpoint so that they know how to use those solutions that we're going to provide to them to be able to deliver on that value proposition to a customer. Again, I can't make the change for them as a business or as Vonage, but we can provide them the tools in order to become more successful in the things that they're doing. You'll see down here, all Vonage support teams from service delivery to client services, customer care, and back. We basically want to be an extension of your team. So working from that perspective and really trying to partner, creating that partnering type of capability and community to express that all the way across to everybody else real quick. And I'm going to pause this real quick here because I've got too many emails popping up here. So bear with me a second. I thought I shut that off, but sometimes technology gets the better of me.
No worries, no worries.
All right, so again, wrapping service delivery, customer care, and client services all together, really putting the customer at the focal point of the center. So no matter what we're doing from that aspect and trying to deliver, we want to take the customer as being the focal point in this, and then whether that's a partner, because at that point you're our customer working with you to facilitate directly to your end user and your customers so that they become mutual customers and doing it in a mutual environment. All right, so I talked a little bit about Vonage, and to give you an idea of really how we've come to where we're at today over the last 5 to 6 years, building out the business for business. As we started from a residential company, focusing primarily on the residential service, we had an incredible cash flow positive company, but residential market itself was declining. So a lot of people probably on here don't have residential phones anymore. Your cell phone is probably the one phone that you use as your regular phone for most things, possibly even for business. So as we started looking at trying to how to build this out, we started by making acquisitions of multiple companies in the UCaaS space. So again, unified communications as a service. So this is an always on and always available type of service, right? It's the standard PBX replacement, which leverages the cloud capabilities so that we can maintain uptime and provide disaster recovery solutions and capabilities for companies so employees can connect from one another and to customers with business grade features across any device at any time. We then acquired some other integration type companies that fell into the middle. So doing some integrations over the top, like a Salesforce integration or G Suite, Microsoft Dynamics, those types of things, Bullhorn. So being able to create a very seamless flow between an application that we can actually interface back end with the phone system to cross-document information, put information in from a notes perspective, and simplify an area for a person to work within so they don't have to work from multiple portals. And then last but not least was NextMo that we were talking about, which is our communications platform as a service. So this is literally breaking down what we would consider as a complete communications as a service from a UCaaS perspective into individual pieces that we can then divide out and provide voice, video, and or chat in real-time contextual communication. So only being used when needed for a particular context of an integration or a communication with the customer, but being always available, but only paying for it when you need it. So that's the combination of where we're at today in terms of bringing all these pieces together into what we can truly create as a comprehensive business communication suite. So let's talk about the Vonage Business Solutions Network and our delivery method. So our network, completely redundant architecture from coast to coast. We're actually leveraged and work very closely with AWS from availability for zone redundancy. I'm not going to go through all the bullets on this. Again, this information you guys can get from us or from the channel managers that you work with. But currently over our entire voice network and the way that this system is designed, we have over 200 million minutes of monthly use. And we maintain and manage and watch across our entire network to make sure that we are above 99.85% of calls being executed without a high number of packets lost. So very highly distributed architecture, the way we've designed it so that it can be very resilient amongst all of our data centers. When we look at our domestic network operations center, our NOC, we have nationwide monitoring that's going on between all of our data centers and all of the locations, including with our AWS partnership. So we've created a lot of different tools for dialing testers, a DID looking glass that we can use from our support systems, registration analysis that goes from all the way down to particular endpoints, depending upon what type of solution we're presenting or we're providing to a customer. So this is all monitored 24/7 by 365 across our entire core from a network standpoint. And again, with our custom monitoring tools, we've created capabilities for customers to even within the VBC platform, go directly out to our website under the support site and see what's happening with the system in real time and see the snapshot and all the information for what's happening for the last week. How we deliver Vonage Business Cloud VBC. So currently, over 90, I would say it's 95, 96% of all of our customers are doing it over the top, bringing their customer-provided broadband or dedicated circuits. So working with a Charter as an example, and Chorus, and any of the partners that, I mean, that's part of what your job is. I used to be an agent back in the day. So, you know, one of my jobs was selling carrier services, depending upon if it was broadband or T1s or Frame or ATM or MPLS, or, I mean, not to date myself a little bit, but using some of those, bringing some of those older technologies up to current standards and processes. So that's where the majority of our customer base resides currently today. We have also developed and started to release this quality of experience. So we actually have what we call SmartWay, which is a software-defined WAN product set. And what we do is that combined with the over-the-top customer-provided broadband and circuit, we have over 4,700 deployments currently with this. And to date, what that does is it gives us jitter buffering, forward error correction, and dynamic multi-protocol optimization. So realistically, what does that mean to everybody? So let's talk about SmartWay a little bit. So understanding a SmartWay site, basically we can have one or two, and in some cases multiple other forms of WAN traffic that are coming in from a internet connection standpoint. We create secure tunnel over the internet service, switching and routing service specifically through this box. directly back end into either the primary and or secondary if there's a secondary connection from an internet perspective. And then we have the capability for per app quality monitoring and action, so we can actually manage the quality of service, prioritizing all voice traffic over any other traffic, and then also a managed firewall that's actually built into this. So depending upon what the customer is trying to do and working with our sales engineering team, we can look at multiple ways to be able to deploy this product set directly to a customer to improve voice quality over an existing customer's network, even using just a single connection or multiple connections. When we continue to look through how does it really improve the QoS from this standpoint. So what you'll see here is in the instance of primary path and a backup path, you'll see where we have the SmartWay and Orchestrator is actually pulling all this information in real time. So it will be sending everything from a simulated packet standpoint across the backup path. The primary path would be your primary voice communications that are running across that internet path. In the event that it's only a single path, we're still sending multiple aspects and monitoring on both ends of the gateways to make sure what's happening in terms of where packets are being sent and received, and if we're seeing any lack of consistency from that perspective. And if so, the best way I've learned to describe it in layman's terms is we'll send multiple streams of the same packets down there, alternating between each other, so that when they get to the other side, if we're starting to see latency and jitter, it'll actually insert multiple aspects across that, sending the same packet multiple times so that it can be on the other end, pulled back together and put into a single voice packet that can be handed off to somebody when they're talking on the phone. So we can improve it on both sides, whether it's just single internet connection or multiple internet connections. To give you an example, in this example here, this was from a real customer site. So they had Comcast cable, and then we had ended up providing them an MPLS T1 for this particular customer. And if you look at the notations on here, obviously the Comcast cable, a lot of people are using Comcast, but in order to be able to improve the voice packets and the voice quality, we mirrored that up with another connection. And you can see where the little red lines, those would indicate problems where we were seeing issues from either a bandwidth perspective, packet loss, jitter, any types of those things. So buffering that across, we actually move the voice packets across, even across the main T1, which was a 9.87, we were able to, with the enhancements, actually increase the quality score up several points, and same from over the top from a Comcast standpoint. So in a situation such as this, where we may have two carrier connections, we can actually move voice packets in real time between those two connections as well. So we do a blend of that between this box and being able to provide that quality of service. As we continue to dive a little bit further into this, so the Orchestrator, this is actually an app view for the customers so they can see what's happening, and we'll show them, they can actually go in and they can see the information in here as to what's happening across the back end of their system. So we partnered with VeloCloud. That's who we've designed and built this entire network product set around for our SmartWay. So you'll see where the VeloCloud control is, real-time protocols, and you can see the other types of traffic that are going on behind it, and it'll tell us bytes received, bytes sent, and then give additional application layers that people can see so they can know exactly where their traffic is going and what's happening with it. So that's one way that we can actually deliver it and improve voice quality, which consistently when we're running any type of a voice over IP over a public internet connection can cause problems. So doing that, and now let's talk about the UCaaS application itself and VVC. So things that we can do with VVC, available for quick installation. We can literally go live on this product set. We suggest within 48 to 72 hours. Realistically, from the time a quote is created to the time when the customer can actually accept the quote and move the order into production, it could be a matter of minutes. So if you have a customer who's hard down, their PBX failed, their voicemail system failed, something of that nature, literally within a matter of a half an hour to an hour after creating a quote, sending it, having a customer accept it, walk through the process of going through the acceptance, they can literally go into their own admin portal and accept and activate the service. We talked about SmartWay, so a quality of experience, mobility and desktop with instant messaging and SMS is included with all extensions. In fact, we just announced as a press release within the last 24, 48 hours, what we call Vonage Flow. So it's our teaming aspect where it bridges all of these together for instant messaging to SMS, group type capabilities internally from a collaboration standpoint and being able to share files from the desktop application, the mobile app, files, pictures, and information between individuals within the company. Amazon Chime is included with most extension types on the system. This is our voice collaboration and video audio collaboration tool that we use. If you're familiar with Amazon Chime, we're going to talk about it a little bit here in a minute. Other things are analytics and reporting automatically included straight from the beginning to the end. So you can actually track all calls, everything happening within the hosted system itself, from users, groups, queues, it's all included. You can do up to 3 physical IP endpoints per extension. And one of the features that we can actually enable on this is monitoring. So you can listen, whisper, and barge from any user. So for a single price point for the entire company, you can give this service to any number of users across the platform as to who they can actually work with from a listen in, whisper, and barge perspective. Typically was reserved for call centers previously, but this is a capability we've enabled on the system to be able to use throughout. We have queues with basic tiered-based routing, so you can tier your individuals as to who would be answering those calls. And then we also have the ability to do what's called custom number tagging. So I can literally tag a phone number, a position in a queue, a group, an extension, a position in an auto attendant with a customized tag, which is a visual tag. So you'd see the caller ID come in with a star and this customized tag that can be both visible, but it can also be an audible tag. So when it plays to an individual, they can say, hey, you have a call from this, or whatever that tag would be, so that they know how to answer the call when they get handed it off. We also have the ability to do what's called dynamic caller ID from the phone, no web app required. So literally they can, you can select a customer who wanted to get multiple numbers in different markets. If they wanted to be able to dial out from that particular number, we can create a dynamic caller ID code that they can dial before the outbound dial itself, and it will go outbound from that particular phone number when they make outbound calls. So they don't have to make any changes to their app, go find another number associated with their user or anything like that. It's just a very quick, easy, either a click to dial through capability or something they can actually key into their phone itself. And then last but not least, we've just in the process now of launching our multi-site capability, where it will list out multiple sites, up to 20 currently. And each site can then, it's all going to be under one single master bill, but each individual location will give you a tally specifically as to what's involved in that particular location. And then last but not least, Orange Glove installation. So we have the ability to do an on-site installation for customers if they're looking to do that as well. Again, working with your regional channel manager and our direct field sales teams, from a partnering perspective, we can work through this with you and finding out what the customer needs and being able to provide a unique experience that's specific to what the customer needs. So when you start to look at it, why Vonage Business Cloud? So obviously, you know, when we compare ourselves to any other competition out there, the top 40 plus calling features are all included. We have the unlimited domestic calling, as I was stating, from the United States, Alaska, Hawaii, and Canada. Mobility is included with all user types. Vonage plus the Amazon Chime, so our complete collaboration suite with voice and video conferencing and chat tools. The integrations that we were talking about, automated self-management. So literally a customer can go in, walk through the tutorial, which is, you know, like any other software where you have, you know, the wizard that can help you set up your system. Literally, this will help walk them through in about 7 or 8 steps to be able to set up their PBX, their hosted system, and actually start using it in a very short time frame. And again, that capability to manage and see what's happening from individual sites as we build that out for a customer. Not going to spend a lot of time talking about the 40 plus calling features, but as you can imagine, you know, voicemail to email, the different IP phones that we can provide to clients from Panasonic, Polycom, and Yealink, soft phone client that's built into the web portals, the desktop portal, as well as our mobile app, the advanced analytics and support. And there's a potential, depending upon what customers might be spending, between collaboration tools as well as all of their other voice services, to even save up to over 36% of our traditional carrier capability. So real quick, let's dive a little bit more into the Business Cloud and Amazon Chime. So a complete collaboration suite, voice, conferencing, and collaboration tools. Every user gets the copy of the Pro tier from Amazon Chime with the Vonage Business Service. It gives audio and video conferencing, chat collaboration for audio meetings up to 100 colleagues or clients. Video meetings, you can do up to 16 on the desktop application or up to 8 on the mobile application. It's built for mobility, so again, being able to move from the desktop, taking it with you and moving it to your cell phone, or taking the cell phone application, moving it back to your desktop, being able to move that between those two systems gives that capability so you can literally bring teams face-to-face, bring them together from anywhere, literally in the world, just like I'm doing today from the UK. And again, this is included in the plan for all of the individual users the way it's built today. So let's talk about the Desktop Connect, so our unified portal. So our unified portal was created so that originally web-based, we still have the web-based type capability. You can use the soft phone to make and receive calls from anywhere with an internet connection. The user portal allows for easy admin access to get into the administration portal so that you can actually make changes if you're an administrator on the system. And then all user settings are also available from the user login page by going under settings. Web Launcher is something that we built into the desktop application to begin with. So this is the lowest level of integration that we have that's capable. So literally you can create built-in screen pops and URL screen pops across to a customer from a CRM or ERP system that might not be supported by Vonage. But they can, as long as it's a web-based and they know what the search URL is, we can work with them in order to create that, put the right information in there from within the web portal, the web launcher setup, and they can actually increase or be able to screen pop and do those types of things. And then same as what we talked about with Amazon Chime, whether it's the desktop application, the physical phone, or the mobile application, you can literally call flip from any device to another device, from a physical phone to the desktop, from the desktop to the mobile app, physical phone to the mobile app, or back to the desk phone as well. The mobile application built very seamlessly. Currently, we do have for the capability to one-to-one video calls on the mobile application. It will be coming out later this year on the desktop application. And what's unique between the mobile and the desktop capabilities is that, again, ability to send and receive text messages to and from any US number using your business or main company number, sending group texts within your account as well. So the ability for you to go into your cell phone, highlight the business contacts that you want out of your cell phone contacts and populating those directly into the mobile application. And then if you highlight those and say, I want to share these with my mobile application and my desktop, it'll actually pull all those through directly to the desktop application as well. The other thing that this will do, either the desktop or the mobile app, is your ability to maintain presence. So whether you're available or in Do Not Disturb, those are basic, simplistic capabilities behind that. And then it will show too if somebody's on the phone. So you can see from the example here where there's a PS and the green circle means that they're available. You'll see down a little farther, Kaylee has a red circle around her. That means she's unavailable. And then we see in this example, Teresa is physically on a phone call. So I can see what's happening with the individuals across the system. And if it's somebody who's either in Do Not Disturb and or they are also, say, on a phone call, then I could instant message them and communicate with them and collaborate with them, even though they might be on a physical call at that time. As is commonplace pretty much with most systems out there today, voicemail, visual voicemail, so being able to take your voicemails, deliver them to your email, and then you have the capability of also getting, adding on a unified mailbox and voicemail transcription into it. So the transcription is an extra added feature that can be added on if a customer wants that to be, interpret what's in the voicemail and actually show it to them in a visual format. Let's talk a little bit about the admin portal. So this unified portal, again, the capability behind it. 3 different levels of system interaction. So the super user, you'll have one super user account for every account. There's admin and admin users and end users. The super user can see everybody on the system. Admins can only see users, and end users can't see anything from an admin portal, which would make sense. You can manage everything from the system. So virtual receptionist, call continuity, call screening, call announce. Not only can the administrator do this, but also the end user can do this straight from their portal. It also has a cart system that's built in, so customers that want to expand or make changes on the fly, they can easily add additional features, additional extensions, call queues, voicemail transcriptions. They can add company-wide call recording. They can even order additional gear and phones directly through the portal. So one of the unique capabilities behind this system is that in and of itself is the capability for a customer who really wants to manage it simplistically and be able to do all the things from the back end. They can do that from this portal. From a call management and queue features for VBC, call groups can be forwarded to multiple extensions, that will ring either simultaneously or sequentially. Many people would call this a hunting type scenario. Call monitoring, which we talked about earlier. Each individual user has the capability of doing a simultaneous ring or a find me, follow me, and or just going straight to voicemail. Our call queues, again, very simplistic nature from a call queue standpoint, an entry point, if you will, into call center. So virtual waiting room for inbound callers. You can dictate specific on-hold experience specifically for those callers. You can allow for multiple overflow options to reroute callers when all agents are busy. You can do that customized on-hold music for the queues. You can do over 100 plus agent state visibility in this. And there's a voicemail capability on the back end of the call queue also, where that could be populated either to a number of people or to a specific person, depending upon how you're designing and building that queue. And then the options for routing within the queues are either in random order, in order of agents here, or the least recently used. So who's been available the longest type scenario would get the next type of call. Call recording for Vonage Business Cloud is very unique. So you can schedule recording rules and parameters for the entire company from the admin portal. So even though it's company call recording or company-wide, you can set it to only record certain aspects or a ton of other aspects. A lot of times people will use this for help management, training employees, evaluations of performance, as well as protecting the organization. Standard offering is 500 hours of storage at roughly $49.95 for the customer, and that 500 hours of storage has an unlimited time frame on the system. It's literally constrained by the number of hours. If they want to add another 250 hours of storage, it's $20 a month to continue to add more blocks of 250 hours. So they can continue to add those and scale it as big as they want to. We have a social media company that's actually using this system with a new aspect that they were trying to go to market with. And last I checked, they had like 73 additional blocks of hours. So they just keep adding them and scaling from that perspective. Files of recordings are easily accessed from the admin portal, and they can be shared via email. And then they also have the capability of a free download utility that they can go in and do fast downloads of all recordings or portions of the recordings if they want to take those and store them off-site. And then also call recording on demand. So this is $5 per user. This gives a user the capability to record calls on demand. So if they're verifying facts and details, stuff like that. The individual user gets 15 hours of online storage, and when they are getting near that, they will start getting notifications from an email perspective saying, hey, you're getting close to the limit. At that point, there's no way that they can expand it. They'd have to offload some of those recordings to something either on their physical PC or within a network attached or a storage area network type device. So it gives them the capability to record calls on the go, not only from the desktop application as well as from the physical phone, but also from the mobile app. And then, of course, as required by state or federal law, depending upon what market you're in and what they're doing, it's customers' responsibility to make sure that they're either doing a disclaimer or playing a beep to notify people that are being recorded, depending upon what the laws are. Talking now from taking it to the next step from our integrated analytics, so providing critical feedback. This is all free to the customer. So every customer has this capability. It can show everything from all calls, inbound calls, international calls, your intra-PBX calls, as well as outbound calls. So we can track everything that's happening within the system, no matter what it is. You can also do users, call queues, and call groups. So you can actually track specifically what types of calls are running through those types of areas as well. It's a full business intelligence suite that's built into the back end, and again, customizable and available for free. To get an idea of some of the things that we have going on for the roadmap as we continue to push through the end of 2018 into 2019. So Contracts, automation, multi-location, advanced contact center, native app, rentals, and service level agreement are all things that we've put into place and are either available today or will be here within the next week or two. As we continue to push toward January of 2019, other things that we're going to be adding in there will be single sign-on, IVR scheduling, custom types of permissions. So we're going to be changing where it was just a super user, an administrator, and a manager or a user to adding additional types of management permissions in there for, say, call center managers and different types of scenarios like that. Additional media encryption that we're building into the back end so that we can go from doing just SMS to also MMS from an instant messaging perspective. You'll also see high trust PCI service provider, which will meet the HIPAA and PCI compliance that a lot of people are asking for and looking for today. So high trust is the top end of that, and we're in the process of finalizing that too. We will also have a bulk porting type capability as well as a brand new receptionist console that we'll be rolling out. And then other things that we're going to be seeing as we continue to go from this standpoint will be additional user import automation, outage notifications, hoteling that'll be coming in the mid-time of this next year, additional APIs for custom reporting, and we're going to see some of that start to release even toward the end of this year. Tickets and install status and some of those other things that will be populating not only directly to the customer, but also that will be tying into the partner portal. Additional paging type options, the executive assistant type scenarios, and SIP trunking that'll all be coming out that we'll be tying into on the back end this next year. So we talked about business applications and integrations. The capabilities have the click to dial capability, incoming outbound screen pops, syncing calls with contacts, call note taking, depending upon which particular business app that you're talking about. So as we look toward those, you'll see here, these are all the integrations that we currently have built directly into our system. So ConnectWise, Job Diva. I'm not going to read all these. The big ones, probably Bullhorn, Salesforce, Zoho, Office 365, and G Suite. If you're using any of these or you have clients that are focused in these areas, please get with us. We can set you guys up with potentially some demo capabilities to be able to demo some of these from your own personal system. Working with our channel managers, we have some different demo options that we can do directly for our partners so that they can have demo capabilities of their own, and we'll work with you through those types of scenarios. Other things that BBC can do is the click to call me and click to dial. So the click to call me, basically it's an HTML button that they can populate either from an email perspective or a browser perspective off a website. And then the click to dial browser plugins, the capability to click to dial from any phone number that would pop on a particular web page. So that's all available and in the system, available to all customers at no charge. The other thing that we're launching this month and into August is our Omnichannel contact center for BBC. So we're in partnership with InContact. So multi-channel ACD queues, the capability to queue multiple different channels, voicemail, email, chat, and more. This is where we start getting into much more advanced call center type applications, skills-based routing, automatically calling back customers who don't want to have to wait, inbound, outbound call blending, call recording, reporting, and analytics. If a customer is specifically looking for an outbound dialer type perspective, then we are immediately going to look toward creating this for them and building this out for them. This is where we would go for those types of scenarios. So blended predictive dialers, quality monitoring the workforce, and then management and optimization across that entire scope. Working with InContact, we've been very closely working with them for several years now. So really building that integration now from our Vonage UCaaS to their open cloud platform. So being able to provide more analytics. One of the things that we've built on the back end is a real-time sentiment analysis, which is another offering that we designed in combination with our NextMo applications, as well as IBM Watson. And it's a plugin that goes over the top of our InContact and interconnection between the systems. So with real-time sentiment analysis, we can actually see what's going on with calls by programming keywords, key phrases. It can actually listen to the calls and see what's going on. Something comes up during those calls, it will actually flag a manager, whether or not it's from a visual standpoint and or text message, instant message, so that somebody could actually join the call either from a monitoring perspective or even being able to help take over a call to give more capability today specifically with being able to react and be more proactive when customers are on the phone than having to react afterwards and then having to go back through the situation. So let's talk real quick about expectation settings. So when we're looking at the Vonage Business Cloud solution, again, it is a very self-driven and automated electronic product. Our overall average installation today is 12 days. So what does that mean to you as a business partner? It means that the installations go faster, which means that you get revenue faster from a comp standpoint. Service delivery is, if we're working with our service delivery team, we're averaging 19 days of installation, and any accounts that exceed $1,000, we're seeing an average of 32 days from an install standpoint. Once we qualify them, gather all the information, help work with you to create the quote, everything's going to go out electronically. A customer will get it. If there's an addendum that's required, they have to sign that and return that. They can go through and actually electronically accept all the terms of service. Once they accept the quote, put in their payment, then the quote automatically goes into the system for the creation of the customer account. They'll get a welcome kit. This is an example of something of that nature, which gives them links and information. So scheduling an appointment with our service delivery team, completing the network profile survey so we can have all the information from the back end. It would give them their login credentials, as you can see here, abilities to click to keep their number and actually automate the porting. So that's all automated online as well. Any customers over $120 in monthly recurring revenue are automatically sent information to request them to work with our service delivery team. And then any customers that we're quoting that are over $1,000 are automatically driven to service delivery to reach out to that customer. The other thing that happens at the acceptance of the order is it automatically starts our average installation and activation timeframe. So the average on the quotes as we send them out is 14 days that goes out. We have the ability to change that, and the customer has the ability to change that even from their admin portal. To show you kind of an instance of what we're looking at, everything here is for the most part automated that goes to the customer. So all of the stuff that's gray is actually system side that's happening behind the system. And stuff that's in blue is also things that are happening from a system standpoint. So system messaging, system activity. The stuff in orange, depending upon how the customer is going about from an installation perspective, working with our service delivery team or self-installing.
Who does it?
This is information that's actually being shared directly onto those customers. And you'll see here we used an average of 15 to 21 days for going through the entire execution. Give you an idea of the onboarding, install, and support levels. So
If he misses it,
under $120 in MRR, and we've got somebody talking. If you could mute your phone, that'd be fantastic. If it's under $120, we really drive them toward that self-help. If it's $120 to $350, to give you an idea, the average time frame we're spending with the client in terms of installation and support is 30 minutes. If we're doing $350 up to $999, our average installation time frame that we spend working with the client, our averages are around 60 minutes in working with that customer to get this up and running. And then 1,000 plus is literally dependent upon what the customer is doing and what types of capabilities and how complex that particular solution is. Activation and porting, again, customer has it all through the dashboard. They can actually go in. They can select all the numbers, pull them in. They can actually populate them all electronically, including putting in all of their information, signing off electronically, and submitting the port. Our average that we're seeing right now is right around 10 days. We just show what the porting SLAs are that, it's 1 to 6 weeks from submission. The one exception to that rule typically is if we're porting from an AT&T customer, moving them onto the platform, we're seeing those ports happen within 2 to 3 days. Other things from VBC, so live on-demand training, live instructor-led webinars that we do 3 different days a week. So they have Monday, Wednesday, and Friday that they can actually sign up for that. We have a robust support site that has over 250 articles. Literally, as we walk our employees through and our partners and other people, almost nothing on the system that you couldn't do by going out here and finding it specifically in that support site. And then we have additional on-demand e-learning modules in the Vonage Virtual University, and those are all available at 24/7/365. For the self-service onboarding, again, live supports to agent staffs available Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern and Saturday from 9 to 9. And then we have emergency on-call after-hour service. So 24/7 access to be able to get support or assistance even after onboarding. But again, where we focus from an onboarding perspective is in this space here. They also have 24/7 access to the customer web portal where they can open tickets, create things, and request assistance from that standpoint as well. Last but not least, when you go out to the customer engagement. So when they're in here, they can go to the Vonage Business Support site, and within that, you'll see here where it says System Status in My Account. So they can go in here, submit a case, they can go directly to the user interface, and they can also see the system status of what's happening with our system in real time. This kind of brings back everything that we talked about earlier. So realistically taking our service delivery, our customer care, and our client services advisors, all of those teaming together to really create that seamless type of capability for a customer. So going from onboarding to support to review to notifying and training, realistically working directly with customers. One of the things that we do for all of those customers that have $1,000 or more, anybody who's using our SmartWay product, and anybody with multiple sites are automatically assigned to our client service advisors. So they will be assigned a CSA that will be working with them after post-installation. That client service advisor is specifically focused on contacting them on a regular basis, doing quarterly updates, finding out what's happening, helping them to expand, making changes, really being a partner to them to continue to meet their needs from a communication standpoint. Last but not least, I said I'd talk a little bit about NextMo. So NextMo, and for some reason, I apologize, this slide got off in conversion, but over 5 billion API calls annually with 430,000 developers we were talking about and 1,600 networks connected around the world. This, the best example I can use for this is an example of, for those of us that have used Lyft or Uber, when you're out there and you request the ride, if you're instant messaging with that individual as the driver and you're the rider, that's a chat API that's actually happening behind the scenes. Also, we have different SMS messaging APIs that can happen behind the scenes as well. So that Uber app that texts you, so you may not have the Uber app open, but it texts you to your instant messaging is an application there as well. Another example would be then if you wanted to call the driver and you instigate the call directly from the application. It connects to your cell phone and you're talking to that driver, but that interaction is, from the context standpoint, is only good for that one interaction. The other things that we can do behind the scenes with this would be numbers API. So our largest, we truly have the largest global reach for instant provisioning for SMS and voice around the world. And then verifying numbers, so that two-party type, two-factor authentication capability. So a lot of times with banking or with Google or different companies like that, where you have that two-party authentication where it sends you a text message with the case number that you have to enter that particular number to authenticate and verify you are who you are. Those are all types of capabilities and API interactions that we've built into the system that can be plugged into, multiple different communication platforms around the world. Last but not least, one of the feature sets that we've actually designed and built is Vonage Reach. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one, but again, if you get this, you'll get this presentation and you want to ask some more information, perhaps do another education at some point down the road regarding Vonage Reach. But this is a smart targeting type application. We have a number of our partners across the country are actually starting to use this for their own internal communication directly to their customers, so that they're always front of mind when it's coming to different things that they can do. So everything from email targeting to instant messaging, mobile loyalty type programs, social bonding, pulling all of these different cross-channel marketing pieces together so that you can cross-sell, brand, provide landline text information directly to customers so that you can keep that front and center for them with the ability for those customers to opt out at any point. It's a very unique capability and offering that we have. And that's a lot of information. So that's pretty much it that I have for right now. I know we had a bunch of questions that came up, so I'm going to stop sharing and kind of move over to the chat function here too, so that I can see what questions we have. And I guess, Jamie, you probably want to open it up for questions as well?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a whole slew. I know we only have 6 minutes remaining here, so we can start from the top down. I think a lot of them were answered in your thorough presentation. So maybe we start with integrations with Salesforce and other CRMs. You showed us that you can do that. What does this add to your cost numbers?
So specifically for Salesforce, it's $5 per user for the integration with Salesforce over the top. The only other one that we charge for currently would be Bullhorn. That's also a $5 charge. All of the other integrations that we showed in the presentation are all available to customers for free.
Oh, awesome. And then does Vonage work in a Mac environment?
Yeah, so actually everything I was showing today, I work in both a Mac and a Windows environment. So it works both in Mac and in Windows, and then the mobile app works both on iPhones as well as Android.
And Christy Love had a great question. How many simultaneous video conferences can be run at once?
So realistically, each individual user has the capability with their own Amazon Chime to run their own video conference. So realistically, it's going to come down to bandwidth, quite frankly. I mean, depending upon how many users and how many people are running a video conference simultaneously would dictate. I mean, you're going to look toward bandwidth, but each individual could be running their own video conference by themselves.
From Anthony here, does Vonage have a deal registration portal?
Yes, so the partner portal that's been created, working with that, there is a deal registration and information that's directly in the partner portal. Work with your channel managers or through the master. They all have access and information as to how to access it, how to set everybody up so that they can get access to the partner portal and do that.
And that kind of leads nicely into the next question by Amy. Her understanding, of course, is Vonage has changed leaps and bounds, your back office, from just a few years ago, more business-centric, and you even talked about being that client-centric in your mission statement. Any comment there as to, some assurance for our team as we bring clients your way?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. As we did all of these different acquisitions between multiple companies, we still have what we call Vonage Enterprise. It's not our focal point for going forward. So where the majority of our investment is in this Vonage Business Cloud application. The reason being is twofold. One is that it's installs faster. So, I mean, for everybody involved, from Vonage all the way down to our partners and customers, we can be more proactive and do the installations faster. From the back office perspective, building out the partner portal and the new feature capabilities we released in the last couple of months with that, and focusing on the capability to build this partner accreditation program that we're building out there gives partners that capability to go in, become accredited, do a lot more with us, get more active. They've created multiple levels within our partnering relationship as to how we can support and continue to work hand in hand with those partners that are truly embracing Vonage.
And we got one more question time for one more question. There we go. From Tony, is there a CASB like product offering on the roadmap for cloud application security? Always talking security here.
So yeah, I mean, the part of that is also being addressed from the SmartWay perspective, so we can help secure some of the communications from that standpoint. So that's part of it we've already done. And then in the background right now, from all of our voice services, all the way to the desk phones and endpoints, we are running SIP TLS, so that transportation layer security. We are also then adding some additional encryption that will be going live here within the next 4 to 6 months as we continue to build that out. And that goes also into the high trust certification that I was talking about earlier.
Well, amazing job, Tom. Thank you so much for all your insight. We have everyone's questions. We have tons more here. We will be getting them over to you so we can respond to them by email as well for the ones we ran out of time to address here today. So that's a wrap for this week's Chorus Summer School Lunch and Learn webinar. Just 5 more to go. Next week, up next, we have Flexential. And then up on deck will be Rapid Scale for August 8th, Fuse on the 15th, Comcast on the 22nd, and we'll wrap it up with 365 data centers on August 29th. So great roundup of additional presenting companies. And thank you so much, Tom, for Vonage. It was a sensational, very action-packed, a lot of details you gave us, so we appreciate that. Don't miss a single, oh, go ahead, Tom.
No, I was just going to say, the one notation that we had on here, and so again, partners that are all on this, but Rob had put in here that he's got some input on a 2,000 seat opportunity he's working with. Rob, are you there?
Yes.
I am. I just unmuted. Yeah, thanks, Tom. I'll just say this in closing real quick. Yeah, it was a great presentation. A lot of it was information that I saw firsthand in the presentation that we did for this particular healthcare client. But I'll say to the rest of the partners on this meeting here today, the things that really were relevant to this particular customer were the geo tracking, kind of like the Uber, where are you? Because, obviously they had they have about probably 3,000, they call them consumers, but they're patients, and they want to know where they are. So that was key. And by the way, they're paying another software to get that you're going to offer them as part of the delivery. The mobility is huge, and integration with mobility, because they're going to probably invert their workforce to being 40% more mobile. So that was very, very key. The admin portal too, they're doing a lot with less people. They only have 5 IT people for 4,000 employees. And what you guys showed them was head over heels of the Avaya IP Office platform that they got to pay for, and they can't do without an intermediary. So what I'm trying to say here is this goes beyond phones as I see it with Vonage. And this customer that we're working on right now with 2 beta sites, they see it as well. So if anybody on this call can understand that, it goes beyond, hey, what are you doing for phones? We're going to save them probably thousands of dollars in soft costs that they didn't know about before the presentation. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, that's
Thanks, appreciate that.
Great point. Yeah. And don't worry, I have not forgotten. We have drawn the winning name of that $100 gift certificate. So out of the 3 folks who provided a pre-submitted question, we have drawn the name Stephen Tevis, the winner of the $100 gift certificate. Again, thanks to Vonage. Tom, your time, your insight, amazing. Chorus Communications, always thinking proactively on how to educate the marketplace. We love that. And also thank you to our partner, Eat Engage. If you want to do a lunchtime prospect meeting next time, check with your Chorus channel manager, and they'll set you up with this registration plus lunch ordering service. Thanks again for joining. I'm your summer school host, Jamie Scott-Octaya of JSA. See you next week, same time, same day, for the next episode of Chorus Summer School Lunch and Learn. Happy networking.
Thanks, everyone.